Maps is almost never home. One day he's in New Zealand as a rugby brand ambassador. The next, he's producing a new film. The question is how he found time to renovate.
Listen, I thought I was going to come here and see a humble abode, but this place is phenomenal.
Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. But it is very much a humble abode, I'd still say, because it's probably the smallest house the top building has covered.
I mean, it might be small, but it feels like everything here has a place. And we were lucky enough to see the before and after pictures on social media, and it caused quite a buzz.
Well, I just try to show a little glimpse of a before and after, specifically this angle from that side, just to sort of show what you can do with any kind of space that you live in. And for me, it was a case of, I'm hardly at home. I love the idea of a functional apartment that has everything I need in it. I'm a very detail-oriented person. I love bringing things from my travels with me, all my inspirations. I wanted to create a space and sanctuary that motivated me and inspired me to want to be here more often. And I'm so stimulated on the outside world non-stop. It's really great for me to be able to come home and feel a lot calmer, hence the slightly darker walls and textures. And it's something that, for me, really works well to be able to have a contrast between leaving my inner world and going out into the outside world. And I think it's a great balance that I try and find.
You guys, been here for, a couple of minutes. I'm already feeling quite zen. Did you do it by yourself?
I was lucky enough to have worked with a lady a couple times on top billing, actually, who'd done a few homes, and over the years we struck quite a rapport, threw a few ideas around, and when it came to doing the home, she was ready. She knew me and my style already, and it was so easy to bring on board Mia Wildlake from Studio 19, and I'd love for you to meet her.
It was a case of Maps, Mia, and the power of communication.
So, you are actually the mastermind behind this, aren't you?
I'd like to say I am. I actually am. We've been plotting this plan for about 4 years.
Yeah.
And then we finally got round to doing it about a year ago. And it was the perfect example of decorating via WhatsApp, because Maps is never home. But yeah, we've had fun.
You two are very prominent creative minds. How was that relationship? I know you said a lot of it was done via WhatsApp, but how was the synergy?
Everything in the 70s, it was just a trendy thing to compartmentalize every single space. So there were walls upon walls upon walls. So we really had to knock down quite a few walls, but also be careful which walls you knock down so that, it sticks within the body corporate stipulations and all of that.
And place it and fall down.
And place it and fall down. So it was quite a balancing act in the end to really try and meticulously navigate how to do it as well as possible while making sure that we create that space that we're trying to achieve.
And it is such a polished end product. And I love the little features. I mean, the lights coming down, even this tabletop, it just kind of pops out at you.
Yeah, this kitchen counter is a sort of matted leather granite counter. Usually it's a very glossy finish that you'd find in most kitchens. And we decided to go with that leather finish as soon as we found this one, and then put the gloss on the side so that we could have a duplicity of texture.
So to complement the leathered granite tops, we used black oak cabinetry everywhere, and then with the lovely texture of the terrazzo, the handmade terrazzo subway tiles, and mixed that up with the mottled bronze shelving just to kind of add a little bit more texture and interest.
I love that these walls aren't here anymore, so we can flow into this exquisite lounge space.
Now we're in the bar area, and the bar stools behind you were some nice pieces we found at La Forma. And if you sit at this bar counter, it's put at quite a high height specifically just to consume drinks and not eat. So it's kind of uncomfortable to try and eat there. So it's purely for entertaining, and it's something that we really took into account to really be able to define what the space was used for.
We have these really cool drawers that pull out and serve as a serving counter, so you can mix your drinks here. Because we didn't have the depth, we just have it inside the cabinet. So that was a pretty cool little feature that we added. And then used the same marble that we've used on the little round dining table just to finish off the countertop here.
This feature jumps out at me because I usually see art hung up on walls, but this one's on a shelf.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of art, and when you have a very small space, you want to figure out the best way to get each of your pieces a chance inside your home. And so with the biblio shelf, what Mia was trying to achieve there was to be able to have my art rotated a whole lot more, and it didn't always have to be fixed.
All of these are very unique and different from each other. Who are the artists?
Absolutely. So all the art is African art, predominantly 99% South African art, and you're quite right, that's Banela Khoza, and I just love his quirkiness and just how unique he is with his creations. That's one by a young artist called Gix Khole. That's actually a 3D painting, and I wish everyone at home could get to see it.
I feel like I don't believe you there.
It's 3D. It's 3D. So there's a process. So you pop these on.
Okay.
Got two.
Okay.
It's weird, eh?
What?
Yeah. So it's
And anywhere you move.
wherever you move, however low you go, however far you go, it sort of moves with you. And I just think he's such a genius and creative young artist that is someone I've been, trying to support as much as possible from a couple of years ago. And then right next to him is someone else who's also a very unique South African young artist, Lebohang Motaung, and she is a very special kind of artist that uses hair to create all her pieces. But I think it's one of the most beautiful things I've seen.
I love how all these pieces frame this very comfortable, relaxed lounge space, but there seems to be a lot more color here than the other spaces we've been to.
I didn't want the artwork to be only isolated colour in the room, so we wanted to introduce Maps' favourite colour, green, along with all the green plants to pull that thread through. So we introduced green in the carpet, and along with the really comfortable masculine tan sofa, it just adds a little bit more energy and a little bit more life to the space.
Early to rise and late to bed, Maps is planning the launch of a new Method Cup Classique sparkling wine later this year. So 8 hours sleep is a rare pleasure.
I see you've gone for a more industrial look here with the Facebook on the wall.
So in this room I went for that New York style apartment. So exposed brick, got rid of that plaster and wanted to have, I guess more that industrial feel, continuing from the main part of the home, bringing in the lighter shade of paint in here just to brighten the space up a little bit. The wardrobes with linen wallpaper over it to add a bit of texture, the floating bookshelf with the sideboard over there, and a nice big comfy bed, because honestly this is where the magic of me getting a proper night's sleep happens. Of course, this of all parts of the house is the real sanctuary for me.
And again, you have the artworks hanging in here as well.
Yeah, of course, I had to bring some art into this space. This is by a friend of mine, Tabiso. He's an incredibly talented photographer, better known as Arrow, and that's really a emotive piece for me, so I wanted it in my bedroom. And then there's a white shirt behind you, which is actually from Florence. It was something that was gifted to me by some very close family friends, and it's made out of marble. I'm obsessed with the idea of a really great, pristine white shirt, and I think they hit the nail on the head with that one.
As a fashion muse whose headwear distinguishes him in any setting, his collection now doubles as an art installation.
So this is the hat wall.
I mean, it's impressive. Does each one have a story?
Most of them do have a story, but I just really love hats. They're all from a local milliner known as Simon and Mary, but I think it's just a great metaphor, as I've collected them over the years, of what I think represents me as a person. A man that wears many hats, and I just wanted to have this feature wall of hats because I loved the idea of being able to display all of them and to see them all out in the open and pick whichever one I wanted.
Well, I'm going to be going overseas to represent the country soon. Is any one of these good for this head?
Disclaimer, I have a very big head, so first I'm going to have to find you one of my smaller ones on this wall. So I'd say to represent, I think I'd have to probably say this one. I usually wear it on the back of my head because it doesn't fit around the whole circumference of my head. But honestly, I just love the creativity of this one. And this is actually splattered by Nelson Makamo. And I think it will look really good on you.
I mean, guys, it's giving me a free hat. That's why I love this job.
I don't know about a free hat, but you can definitely use it for Mr. World.
It's free. It's mine.
Do not get between Maps and his hats.
And that pretty much is the house. This is my home. Harmony.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Good to see you, bro.
Good to see you too, man.
You know Fez, right?
What's going on here,
It's
guys?
okay. Come here.
No.
Shh, just embrace
No,
it.
what's-
Embrace it. It's all good.
Are you a little bit touched? What's going on?
What's happening here, guys?
So you and Jonathan have your bromance or whatever. So Harmony and I go way back, and
Dude.
he comes over now and again. We chill, we watch a movie. Actually, just in time, I was about to show him the party trick.
What? You haven't seen it yet? Psh, you're gonna love this, bro.
As an amateur magician, the great Maponyane likes making doors disappear.
So the first thing I did was knock down this wall and open the space up. And I wanted a curtain that could have the outside be inside as well. So got these made. I love the practicality and functionality of being able to walk through any gap here. And of course I mentioned that if we're gonna watch TV, we need to black it out so we can have our cinema feel, and that's how you do it.
Now let me get comfortable. That's an incredible
Don't
job.
get too comfortable, brother. You know where your seat is, that's my spot. Get away. There we go. Right there. Let's watch some TV.
Yeah.
Lights off.
Qu'est-ce qu'elle a dit?
Je ne sais pas.
I miss Jonathan.
For real romantic comedy, check Mups' new film, co-produced with Terry Petto, out next year.